As we blow the dust off the mirror ball, 15 brave gladiators enter our den of dance. And we're here to give the thumbs up and the thumbs down. Actually, it's not Roman themed. Right, just roll the theme tune. Hello and welcome to the Keep Dancing podcast. I'm Ellie and I'm your host tonight. I am joined by Lisa, Emily, Anne and Elliot. We are 100% unofficial, but we're lovely. All the same. We're here to provide you with Strictly Come Dancing analysis and opinions and frock chat. We aren't always neutral. We aren't necessarily always polite. But we do try our best to even things out over the course of the series. If you'd like to get in touch with us, email us at keepdancingpodcast@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter and Instagram at keepdancingpod. This series, you might even be listening to us on YouTube. So we'll see how that goes, everybody. We would love to hear your views, theories, and conspiracy theories over the series. So, hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
So we might have some new people joining us this series. So I'd like you to all introduce yourselves one by one. I will point at you, and for the benefit of the listeners, mention your names. Emily.
Hello.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, right. I'm Ellie's little sister and extremely opinionated. A big fringing fan. I've been involved with Keep Dancing Pod since we started it because we wanted lots of opportunity to share our
views on fringing, largely.
Mostly views on fringing and conspiracy theories about dance.
Elliot.
Hi, my name is Elliot Harris. I'm actually a competitive ballroom and Latin dancer myself and was inspired by the show in Series 2 to take it up and haven't stopped in 13 years. I'm opinionated, blunt, and...
Unlike the rest of us, you know the technical details.
I pretend I do more than anything.
Lisa.
My role here is to talk about all things dress and hair and makeup. And, well, I was going to say glitter. We all talk about glitter, but I'm a glitter freak.
Now, I know we all have danced since the last series of Strictly. What have we all done dance-wise since the last series of Strictly? Elliot, you can do the most impressive one because I know you've competed since the last series.
Since last series, I have been competing for this season with an actual proper partner this year. I have danced at the Winter Gardens again back in April, and today I had my yearly medal test to qualify me to compete for another year, so I had to be all technical and whatnot, and it wasn't fun.
The heels and the toes were all in the correct places.
Yes, and not the clomping as you go down so everyone could hear you.
Ah, marvellous. Lisa, what dancing have you been doing since we last did this?
I'm not entirely convinced I have been, have I? But you might know differently. I've danced in Euro Club.
Okay, that's your dancing. Emily.
I just dance all the time, don't I?
In the kitchen, yeah.
In the kitchen, in the house, in my office at work, if things get really bad. There has been known to be an office disco.
Oh, that's always a nice thing, the office disco. Let's see if we've had a few things recently. We had the one of those outdoor cinema screenings, and there might have been grease, so then we were practicing the hand jive in the office before. Marvellous. Well, since I now spend so much of my weekend pontificating about people's skills in ballroom dancing, I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm learning Latin and ballroom with my husband up here in Glasgow. And we'll see if I improve as quickly as even the worst Strictly contestant. Spoilers.
Ellie, you went dancing with Oti. You have to talk about that.
Oh, of course. Yes. The last episode in our podcast feed was a nice chat that I had with Oti when she was doing her Shake It sort of solo salsa class workshops, which were great fun. Everybody sweated buckets. It was during the heat wave. Fab. Anne, you coming back?
The aliens have taken over.
Anne has turned into a chipmunk.
She's a Dalek. Anne is a Dalek, but she's not a full-size one. She's the size that sort of rolls around on the tabletop. That is one of the funniest audio glitches I ever heard.
I feel like you should leave it in.
Anne, could you introduce yourself and tell us about your dance experience?
I'm Anne. I've kind of danced off and on since I was about 4, but mainly tap and ballet and that kind of stuff. But for about the last 4 or 5 months, I've been doing Fit Steps.
Could you tell me what Fit Steps is?
So basically, the easiest way I can describe it, it's like solo Strictly. So you kind of learn a routine in a kind of paso doble style or a waltz style or a jive style, but it's by yourself. And it's good fun.
That sounds awesome.
I'm going to say I'd be well up for that.
It's what's her name? Natalie and Ian.
It's by Ian and Natalie.
Oh,
Yes,
marvellous.
it's their little brainwave. So if you go on, if you just search for Fit Steps, there's loads of pictures of and videos of them doing stuff.
I'm on it. I've got my tablet set up separate from my laptop so that I can do.
Emily now has a podcastatorium. Okay, let's get into this year's launch show. Okay, so because we didn't convene over the summer to talk about the celebrity casting, what we'll do is we'll go through in the batches in which they were paired up. And then I think at the end we might have a bit of a general chat about what's changed. Right?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so let's go in with the first batch of our Strictly ladies. Kit Silverton. I was pretty much sure she'd done this before. But it turns out no.
Yeah, I thought the same.
It turns out that was a sort of a folk memory of Natasha Kaplinsky.
I did exactly the same thing. I went, she's done it before. Then I was like, oh no, that was the other one that looks like her and does the same job as her.
It doesn't help they have styled her exactly like Natasha Kaplinsky with the hair and everything. Even I was getting confused. I was like,
Although
she seems perfectly pleasant.
Strictly All Stars would be quite a good excuse to get Natasha back on the ballroom.
Oh yeah.
And doing it again. I will cut these outtakes out because as a fellow podcaster, an audio recordist, Anne will appreciate the hilarity of the glitch.
So we talk about Kate.
Yes.
Kate. Yeah, she does feel like the kind of person who should have done this years ago. She's like the next in line of the female news presenters who hasn't done it yet.
Do we think that they have this news presenter casting mapped out sort of 5 years hence, and they have to swear off other commitments over that autumn winter?
I swear they just do it just like a lucky dip. They just stick their hand in a bowl, and whichever name pops up first, they go to them, and they say no, they go into the next one. That's what it feels like. They just stick their hand in a sweepstake and go, it's your turn.
Woo! And
yeah, I think Kate's a good signing. I think I said, I thought she'd done it before and then realised I was thinking of Natasha Kaplinsky. I think she's a good signing. I mean, she's the one, when she was first announced, we all said, oh, there's Anton's partner. And then Susanna came along. So, we'll talk about her later. But I think we all sort of mapped her out for Anton until
that happened.
That point, yeah.
But what she's actually ended up doing is she's dancing with Aliash.
That's such a great partnership. I was so pleased when I saw. Well, when the Susanna thing was announced, I was like, that Kate's not having Anton then. I was like, she has to have Aliash because she's really tall. Aliash is tall. It's like you could just picture them together. So, like, the first one out of the hat, I was like, yes, 1-0 for 2018 to me.
And they've both got that sort of really infectious, positive, work hard attitude.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some really good training footage. Given that I'm hoping they're going to restart the season with lots of training footage again. I think we're going to get lots of really nice characterful training footage from these two.
I think the dress team are going to have a lovely time with her because I think she's going to look really nice and nice long flowing gowns. I think she could really pull off some cracking outfits.
Her ballroom frocks are just going to have the most go days.
Yeah, it's go day heaven.
But with Aliash, could do really well because he has some really good choreography. So he knows what's worked for his partners and he makes sure that is highlighted. So
yeah, and he's a really supportive pro as well.
Yeah, he's not one of the ones that seems to sort of get a bit carried away with themselves like some.
For the purposes of the spreadsheet, I sort of stick people in sort of vague categories, and I'm going to put Kate and Aliash in the improvers category, which means she might not start out great, but she's got potential for a storyline, and you generally win from the improvers bucket.
Yeah, have we had a newsreader win?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
Call yourself a fan, although you were but a child, Emily.
Yeah. I'm going to say it was 15 years ago. Come on, I was young.
So our next lady to be paired up is Vic Hope, who, given that I don't think any of us are in the capital Manchester region, I don't think we'd really heard of her before, but I think she's smashing.
She seems lovely.
She's got the most work, it seems like, winning over the public because it seems like no one knew her and she had no social clout online to gang onto for a fan base. And so I thought, she's probably going to go first regardless of how good she is. But she seems great fun. She seems like absolutely fabulous and I want to be her friend because she seems like a lot of fun.
Elliot, if she goes first, wardrobe are going to riot.
She's too willing to don the.
Yeah,
I mean, she does look fantastic, and I don't think she could wear a bin bag and look amazing on the Strictly Dance Floor. To be honest,
and Vicky will not allow that to happen. They've got 20 meters of beaded fringe for Vicky for every week of the contest.
There was a bugle bead order special for her.
Yes. But I think you're right, because she's partnered with Graziano, and as an incoming pro, he doesn't have a fan base either. So she is going to need to score 7s and 8s straight off the bat just to keep her through to movie week, essentially.
I don't know. I think they've laid it on thick with the Graziano stuff, haven't they, again? So I don't think... I think they were very much aiming that for their core audience. So I don't think they're going to have that much. We're not the core audience.
Is Graziano supposed
but we are.
Is Graziano supposed to be sexy?
Yeah, he's supposed to be like, what's his name? Paul Dark. You know, all the...
Where's his scythe?
Well,
don't ask questions like that
for movie week.
Oh, they're going to do Pirates of the Caribbean, aren't they? They're going to make him look like flipping Jack Sparrow.
Well, that just is
definitely more of a Bill Turner than a Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, I took all of my Johnny Depp DVDs to the charity shop.
Did you? Well done.
Yeah. He's on the list. So, Going to Anton's actual partner, it's Susanna Constantine, a woman who. So in the noughties, she was responsible for me wearing a lot of really boring clothes and a lot of V-necks that I could have avoided, and long necklaces and statement coats. Just, I will have my revenge, Susanna.
Your statement coat collection was amazing.
Yeah, statement coats. I still have statement coats, but the don't wear black with colour, it makes the colour look cheap and the black look boring, is wrong. It is just incorrect.
Yes. It is wrong.
So I'm looking forward to seeing Susanna really embrace the extra of the Strictly wardrobe and Strictly experience, because it's something she would never have allowed her, like the more fabulous range of the ladies on what not to wear, to get away with. I've said my piece.
I feel like wardrobe has already started changing her mind a little bit, because there was all the little chains on the bodice of a dress. There was a definite drop waist, which I'm fairly certain, if I remember my what not to wear from the 90s, they said that women with wider hips, because she was always the wider hip example, shouldn't wear drop waists. So, hopefully she's realised that a lot of what she said in the 90s was nonsense, like a great many people.
Well, I believe we were all still wearing boot-cut flares when they were giving us style advice.
Exactly. So,
Things change. Anyone else for Susanna? I'm assuming we're getting the standard Anton partner story.
Yeah.
It's a shame, isn't it?
A woman puts up with Anton for several weeks.
You say several weeks.
Oh.
Well, several. She's going to do 2 dances at least.
Yeah.
2. I mean, I don't want to make any bold predictions too early, but I think Susanna is the first one out. I know she's with Anton, but I don't think Anton's star is quite as big as it has been, and that he thinks it is. I would not be surprised if they were the first couple out. Actually.
He seems to be believing his own hype at the moment.
Yes, he does very much, and I am quite a big Anton fan. I really enjoyed him dancing with Diane in the opening sequence. I actually thought that was really good. Because it was just Anton dancing as part of a dance company, rather than, when he came in on the glitter ball, it just looked ridiculous. I was like, no.
I never need to see that again.
No, that's
awful. To see that again.
At least he wasn't nude in boots.
True.
There is that.
True.
I think the issue, which is going to be Susanna and Anton's downfall, is that Susanna isn't as likeable as Anton's previous partners, or how it feels. Everyone loved Ruth, everyone loved these other people, and I just don't think she's going to be so bad it's good sort of thing. People are getting fed up with Anton because he's been there for so long, and that it feels like he doesn't take it as seriously anymore with his partner. Like, he always goes for the comedic route, like their paso with Ruth, because as funny as that was, I would have preferred to see a proper paso to the Barber of Seville. I think it was that they danced to, something similar. I just think it's set up for them to go out first, sadly. There's just something about Susanna which I'm not clicking with, and I actually know who she was, shockingly. I blame my mother. There's just something about her last night which I just wasn't warming to, and I don't think that's a good sign on your first impressions.
I think also we just have to have a look at, so Anton has been, I don't want to say artificially kept in by the producers because they've needed him for the ratings. That would be far too baseline thing to say. But look at who Strictly have booked, and looking at where I think they're predicting and going and trying to get their new audiences, I don't think that Strictly are going to be thinking, oh, we need Anton to be in it to bring in the grannies and the, because they've got them, they don't need them. I think the show would, I don't want to say survive without Anton, but I think this year might be a bit of a test, because I don't think he's going to be in it very long.
I think the problem is that the main demographic that Anton pulls in are falling in love with the others, but more so Kevin. So he is losing his demographic, and if that goes, he is gone. And then they'll bring in Neil or Johannes for next season instead.
Oh, Neil.
Neil.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Neil.
The perpetual bridesmaid of Strictly.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
If you want a positive spin of Susanna going, at least Anton can go and look after the twins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go home and look after the twins.
I thought it was a little bit tasteless of Susanna to say, bring on the Strictly curse to a new father.
So did I. That was a bit out of order.
Yeah.
But she's always been a bit too outspoken, hasn't she? From what I
Well,
remember.
I think probably that was Susanna trying to kind of be fun and friendly and jokey and funny, but I don't think that is Susanna's character. I don't think she is a fun and jokey sort of person. So I think, it was an attempt at humour that was just wrong and inappropriate.
Well, she's going to get on fine with.
Before.
She's going to get on fine with Anton then.
Yeah, that's true.
The last of the first batch, Faye from Steps, who I believe has a surname, but it's from Steps.
From Steps, just like H
Yes.
from Steps.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is she going to be an improver or is she going to be a struggler?
Struggler.
Struggler.
She looks lovely in yellow.
Yes.
Yeah.
She does.
Which is, not to be rude, but is very uncommon for someone so pale, because yellow normally washes people of light skin out unless they're very, very tanned.
Yellow's
But
very challenging.
I find her really forgettable already, which is a problem when you look at the 15. I didn't remember her somehow. And I know Steps. I went to many a school disco and I played Steps. I know who she is.
We all know Steps. But
I'm
there
their
are
rival.
there are a lot of blonde ladies with roughly the same hourglass figure on the cast this year, and we're going to have to get through a few of them so that we can start telling them apart in the group shots.
She's nice, isn't she?
She seems
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
She's got a Molly King vibe, hasn't she? She's just pleasant.
And
She's nice, and that'll get her so far. And her Steps fans will get her that far, but it's whether the dancers will bump up her personality, though. That's going to be key.
yeah, and with Giovanni, I think it's going to be cute. But it's not going to be cute with the edge of they should run away and get married like Debbie and Gio last year.
No one can replicate Debbie and Gio's chemistry, surely.
Faye is from Steps. She's not the lovely Faye from Steps.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I said, it just feels just like a copy and paste of Molly, and I think we're getting the exact same arc as Molly. If she goes on to do a celebrity dressage like Lisa said she was last year, we'll wait and see when that show comes to air, because I'm still laughing at that comment from last year. Let's see. Let's ask her if she's nice to horses. I don't know. She could be.
Celebrity dressage is I think that the silliest celebrity format that I've stuck through a whole program of was celebrity shepherding, celebrity sheepdog trials.
Nice.
It was really
You didn't dream it.
I was going to say, you didn't dream that, did you, Ellie?
not sure.
Okay, fine.
So that first number where they were introducing what's his face, Graziano, Johannes, and Luba to us. Havana is what we do our slow cha-cha to in the ballroom class I'm taking. And I was wondering which of our strugglers would get given a slow cha-cha to Havana in the opening weeks of the show. But no, it's already gone. You can't have Havana. No favoritism accusations. It's done.
I mean, if they really wanted, they could put it on near the end of the series and have it as a rumba if you slowed it down a little bit more. If they're trusting people to forget and then jump it back in, which would probably go to someone who would fit into that sort of modern day bubble we'll talk about later, but I don't think they're going to get that far, personally.
Right, let's get through a batch of boys. Okay, in the next batch of boys, we begin with Lee Ryan, who there was nothing going on behind his eyes.
No.
Oh my God, he got so scared.
I don't think he knew what was happening.
Do you know what show he walked on to?
Did he get
Press ganged.
press gang?
Yes.
Did he get press gang basically? He went out for a drink and then woke up in the wardrobe room being spray
No.
tanned?
He thinks he's on Celebrity Masterchef.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. He's about to produce a chocolate fondant.
Just the one.
Do you think?
Yeah, it's knockout rounds on Celebrity Masterchef, so you just need to do the one dish.
Or do you think he rang Simon Webb and gone, mate, the Eurovision money's run out, I need to do something, and Simon's gone, hey, Strictly was a good laugh, give that a go.
Elliot,
And he's gone, oh, bugger.
You know as well as I do, there is no Eurovision money.
I was going to say, you say Eurovision money.
I'm optimist.
So he's going to be dancing with Nadia, who we didn't get to see enough of last year,
liked
really.
Nadia.
I think she's going to be that we're going to have a lot of very exasperated training VTs when it emerges that Lee doesn't know which one his right foot is, and
It'll be fine.
I mean, he's helpfully ticking the ex-boy band, now a grown-up bloke box that needs to be ticked every year. I found him quite dull. I don't know.
Did they pickle him? He looks the same as he used to.
He's certainly not changed since Eurovision, that's for sure.
that was 8 years ago now.
I know.
His personality was lacking, and what I remember from Nadia, I don't remember much of her having a personality apart from being really smiley. So they're going to be an interesting pair.
No, she's going to mess him up in training. He's going to regret this.
The problem is I remember nothing of the Voodoo Nadia from last year apart from the lifts, so I have nothing to go on from her either. So they could easily become the forgettable couple.
I think he's the forgettable boy, where Faye is the forgettable girl.
God, what is it with just... Is that like the
a lot
first
about
being the
90s.
band? Just blend in.
They were all made in one factory, you know.
Yeah, they were.
Yes.
Well,
Isn't that the truth, Emily?
so if we're thinking that Faye's Steps fans and maybe Lee's Blue and Eurovision fans were going to give them some votes, I don't think that your sort of canonical gay vote is going to be going to either of them, because it's going to be going to the lovely Dr. Ranj of This Morning and CBeebies. He has got the biggest crossover demographic. He doesn't have to be good.
No.
And he is. I've seen him dance on Get Well Soon. I've seen him dance in the CBeebies panto. He's got rhythm.
I watched a clip of Get Well Soon, right? That is one of the best children's programs in ages.
My son loves it. When I pick him up, and I always do it at the same time it's on, and he kind of looks at me disdain, like, go away, come back in 10 minutes. But
It's a good program.
it's a brilliant program.
So possibly the only thing between Dr. Ranj and the final is Jeanette's choreography then.
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
But I don't even think that's going to stop it, because he is just so likeable as a person, and if he has any decent rhythm, I don't see him falling into the bottom two unless he does an Ashton Hatch absolutely awful dance. But hopefully Jeanette has learned from last year, you don't do a show dance with a Viennese waltz when it's titled as a Viennese waltz. But
Hopefully.
yeah, hopefully. And I mean, from the cast, he is my favourite at the minute, or my favourite boy. He just seems like so much fun. He just wants to throw himself into it, and he's just adorable. He's just so adorable.
Absolutely adorable. So him and Jeanette, it is going to be such a sweet and fun pairing. Oh yeah, also he works for the NHS as well. I can't imagine, like, people will either be voting for Joe or they'll be voting for Dr. Ranj. Everybody else has got like a tiny percentage of votes to go for between them.
My question is, how long until he dances to either Dr. Jones or Dr. Beat the salsa? Like, how long until he gets a Doctor themed song?
Dr. Beat is going to be the number one, isn't it? That's got to be his first one.
Yeah, his first one, his job-themed mandatory pun dance.
Dr. Beat.
Yeah, Dr. Beat. There's a good one called Dr. Kiss Kiss, which is a slow disco number.
Yeah, but week one, they're going to pull out It's Got to Be Gloria Estefan, isn't it? I mean, I wouldn't be mad if they did that as well, because that's cheese fest all over, but bring it on.
What about if he just does entirely medical themed songs all the way through? Paso Doble to Bad Medicine. Hang on, I've dried up now. Anyway, tell us in the comments your medical themed routines for Dr. Ranj.
Oh no, Ellie, you know what they would do to Bad Medicine by Bon Jovi? That would be the tacky, nasty, rubbishy rock tango that we keep yelling at not to do.
Oh.
And you know that's coming. You just know that's coming.
To say that Dr. Jones by Aqua
already-
is a tango, it's a very camp tango, but because he is the LGBT group, if he wants to play at both sides, they could use Dr. Jones as a tango and he could just be a camp tango dancer,
thing
which
is,
Bruno would then give a 10.
The doctor in Dr. Jones is Indiana Jones. So it's a different kind of doctor.
Yeah. Got to be medical one.
Anyway, we think that Dr. Ranch might be like top 3 most likable contestant this year, but mine and Emily's childhood hero, Danny John Jules, is competing this year, and I'm beside
Team
myself.
I'm Team Dibley all the way.
Team Dibley. It seems so obvious. It was just a shame he couldn't have done it when he still had hair, but, he's now got a sparkly hat.
I loved the stoned hat. I loved that.
I really like the bottle green velvet jacket.
He's good at clothes.
He's good at clothes. We know this. He's also just an all-round good egg, isn't he? That's the thing. He's great value on Twitter.
His personality's got the perfect partner because Amy is just such a bubbly, excitable mess, and they look like they're going to have the best time, and their Latin is going to be the most fun. He could be a lot like Patrick and Anya from a few years ago, where the older gentleman is a lot better than anyone expects, because I don't think many people think he was going to be that good until we saw his sort of like VT when they're all doing the dances, and they realised actually he's actually got some rhythm and some character.
Yeah.
Any podcasters listening, any podcast fans listening, if you didn't watch Red Dwarf growing up, please go to YouTube and put in Red Dwarf tongue tied.
I didn't watch Red Dwarf growing up.
And he originated a role in Starlight Express. Like, he is the most ringer that we have ever had. And
But
I think it's
a ringer, it's out the other side.
It's a masterstroke getting him on Strictly.
He's going to be a grafter as well, though, isn't he?
And
when he finds something hard, he's going to work at it. Hammer and tongs, 24/7.
Amy's going to love it as well. Lisa.
She will.
So let me say, I don't know him from Red Dwarf because I tried once to watch Red Dwarf and hated it from about 5 seconds into it. So I've never seen Red Dwarf at all. I know him from Death in Paradise, which I absolutely love that show. I am really wanting to support him from that. I think he's great. I'm really looking forward to seeing him dance.
So I also remember that he was in Bugsy Malone.
He's in Labyrinth. If you're playing 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, Danny John Jules is very good. He's in Little Shop of Horrors.
He is, isn't he?
So if you want to go Rick Moranis to anybody in Blackadder, you can go Rick Moranis, Danny John Jules, Tony Robinson.
Oh, because of course, Maid Marian and a Merry Men.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Love that show.
Danny is a hero to many generations.
No, I've totally made up the Bugsy Malone thing.
He's not in Bugsy Malone. He's the wrong age. Wrong age.
I've just dreamt that, I think.
Anyway,
His
so
personality would fit in it though. So
we'll be chatting on about Danny for weeks. Now let's move on to the massive heat of Joe Sugg.
Yay!
He's got a massive heat, and
Right, well, we have to talk about him because we haven't talked about this. There's been a lot of talk about it online and in other people's things and on Kevin Clifton's Insta story, but we haven't talked about this and what a great booking that is for Strictly. So we ought to talk about what a brilliant booking that is.
Absolutely fabulous. I mean, I think Zoella would have been a risky booking because she had quite a lot of negative press, but getting Joe Sugg is absolutely genius. He's like, if you look in his replies, he's got people from all over the world signing up for BBC accounts so that they can vote for him online.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
His
that's going to cause a controversy.
his
isn't it?
televote is not even going to be funny.
No, I mean,
he's going to win it every week.
I mean, when he got announced, I did actually jump on YouTube and do a video about him being selected in my thoughts. And I think it's a fantastic signing because it's also bringing social media and online, viewership into the mainstream. And the BBC are acknowledging this is a thing. People watch this more than TV now. We need the ratings. This will bring people in. He's bringing a new, younger demographic in. You know, I thought her sister was going to do it because she's been very quiet since that end of the year, and I thought this would be the perfect thing to do. But getting her brother instead, brilliant. Yeah, I just think he's a fantastic signing for it. He looked absolutely terrified last night, bless him. He didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
He looked so scared.
Unfortunately, the problem with booking a YouTuber is he's got terrible posture.
Yes.
And
he's really out of his comfort zone in this.
The poor
really
lamb. Poor lamb. But Redo worked wonders with our Revo last year. She's going to look after him.
If anyone can do it, Redo can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, maybe she was slightly disappointed, but, like, she's now going to be a huge internet star.
Yeah.
Which I think if any of our pros can handle, Diane can.
She's going to get the envy of millions of people. Like, who, to be honest, wouldn't want that? Like, people would kill the dance of him and his family, and she getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
Is Jo Sug like a legit heartthrob?
I wouldn't. I'm not sure I would say heartthrob, but he is known because he's got. I mean, he said 13 million followers. I only know his YouTube count, which is 8.2 million. That's still impressive and nearly the size of London. But yeah, I don't think Diane actually realizes how much of a big deal he is and how far she will get with him, regardless of his dancing ability. I generally think she doesn't have a clue because he was introduced as a social media star, which doesn't sound as impressive in the eyes of everything else. But
I was a bit annoyed that they did that because YouTube is not social media. YouTube is broadcast media, and he's a YouTube star that has social media accounts like everybody else. So I was like, strictly, if you're going to do this, do it right. He's a YouTube star, not a social media star. Anyway.
And inspired by Jo Sug, I'm going to be putting the podcast on YouTube this year. So we'll see what that does. So, next batch of girls. We've got the lovely Katie Piper. She's our really nervous contestant this year then.
Aww. But she's so adorable.
There's gonna be tears. Like when she does a waltz and, you know, is sort of, you can see that she sort of stops shaking. When that moment comes and she relaxes into it, it will be really beautiful. But also, if she doesn't relax into it, it's going to be really difficult to watch.
Yeah.
With a lot of people on this show, you know that they're going to have a journey. But with her, we've already been on a journey with her. And it just feels like however long she's in the show, and I hope she does get over her nerves, I think she's really going to come out of it so much kind of stronger and more positive than she even is now. So I think, you know, good on her. And I just hope she, as I say, gets over those nerves, because I think she's a fragile little thing in some ways, but I want her to kind of power on through.
Well,
I think she's rock solid. Just to be disagreeable for a moment, but I think she's hard as nails, isn't she?
She's got resilience. She's got resilience, but she's well out of her comfort zone. But she's got lovely Gorka, the absolute perfect gentleman, to hold her in his arms and take good care of her.
That's a great pairing. That's a really great pairing.
That's one of the ones, isn't it? That's one of the ones that I saw and went, they've got it right there.
Yeah, absolutely right.
And the thing is, I feel like Katie will push herself really hard and will want to do it right, and Gorka isn't afraid to push their partner. Like we saw it with Tamika and Alexandra. He will work hard with their partner if they want to do it properly. So I have high hopes for them. I really want her to do well. I really do.
Yeah, a really nice story.
I think she'll definitely shine in ballroom more than Latin. I think Latin will be more of a struggle for her. I think the ballroom is where she'll really find her the place she can relax while she's doing it, you know.
Mm-hmm. So moving from one pairing that's already given me the warm fuzzies in anticipation to one which I cannot believe they have done. They have asked the clearly intense, quite posh triathlete Lauren Steadman to dance with flippant, not posh child AJ. Oh my God.
Here's my confusion with this pairing. Lauren's arc seems to be, I want to win.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure she said that to them from day one. So why have they given her AJ? Because I know she's saying, I want someone to keep up with me. So I thought, oh, AJ's young. He's got energy. He'll be able to keep up. No. No.
Just, this would have been an
Not
ideal
gonna
opportunity to get Neil out.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would have been a brilliant pairing.
This is not going to work because I've said this with my mother before. AJ isn't a good partner. He hasn't learned how to dance for his partner. He dances for himself, and that's through Molly and Claudia.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's going to happen again.
Also, he's really going to get on her nerves.
Yeah. She seems like a woman who won't take any mucking about. She seems like the strict teacher in school.
Her face during any attempt at comedy VT will be my new disdain gif.
I think she's a Paralympian. She's not used to not so harsh, but let's just take a break in the middle of the day. Like, no, she's there to work hard. She's come over adversity with her meningitis and everything and got to the top of her game, and now she's doing this. It just seems so bizarre.
We're used to scenarios where the pro absolutely kicks the celeb's ass, and now we're flipping the script.
Well, that will make it quite interesting. Actually, that might make AJ more interesting than he has been the last two series. If he's got a partner who is whipping him into shape, that might give him a story. Because let's face it, AJ's not had a storyline since he's been in the show.
I'd like somebody to talk back to him.
Oh,
Maybe he might grow a pair.
Anyway, right, let's move on to Stacey Dooley. She seems nice. She's lovely.
Brilliant.
And she's dancing with Kevin in a move so obvious that you could see it from space.
Yes.
Kevin's happy.
Yes, I think that's the best reaction I've ever seen. Yeah, this just seems like a nailed-on finalist already, because has Kevin ever been eliminated? Apart from Susan, he's never been eliminated before the final.
No, this is Kevin in the final again. Unless she
It's awful.
actually can't, unless she's like embarrassing in Latin, in which case he will just do comedy routines like he did when he had what's her name out of EastEnders. Kelly. Like Kevin's in the final again. And I'm looking forward to getting to know Stacey.
Good. I would be utterly thrilled if Kevin was in the final, and I would be more thrilled if Kevin won the thing, because I kind of feel like he deserves it, not because of, because of his last name, but because he's worked really hard since he's been on Strictly. He's really put the hours and the graft in. Let me say about Stacey, I have been a huge fan of Stacey Dooley's since Blood, Sweat and T-Shirts, which was, I looked up 10 years ago. And I loved that show. I wish it was on YouTube because I want to go back and watch it again. And I've watched, I think, everything she's ever done since. I adore that girl. I think she's brilliant. So when I heard she was on Strictly, I was turning cartwheels, not literally, but metaphorically.
Emotional cartwheels.
I absolutely was turning emotional cartwheels, yeah.
It's just nice to see her in a job position for 3 months where she's going to be safe and not putting her life on the line, because that's what she does for a day job.
Lifts, Elliot.
Yes. Yeah, with Kevin though, you've not.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's in a safe pair of hands. The risk is she'll get bored and, I don't know, start looking for gangs or something.
My only issue with Stacey last night is I absolutely hated what they put her in last night. I thought that was the worst dress of the night, personally. I hated that sort of sand colour thing.
A very pale ginger in gold is a choice.
Yeah. It's something.
Did they just run out of the colour wheel when poor Stacey's just at the back of the queue? It's just like, she could look so much better.
Oh, so Elliot, she's going to win. She's going to get some nice frocks in the final.
Yeah, she's going to definitely be in long enough to get some better frocks. Yeah. Although I liked the colour. I did like the colour, but not on her. I don't think it suited her. But I liked I thought the actual sort of just warmer than nude shade she was in was lovely, but
I still can't get over the platinum beaded fringe that Vic Hope was wearing. Just
that was beautiful.
Unbelievable. Like wearing starlight.
Final Stacey point. I loved how 2 weeks ago she called out Dan Wootton with the line, "If you're going to say my name properly, Stacey Dooley MBE." I just thought that was beautifully done. So I love her for that as well. She knows how to deal with it.
Anybody who calls out Dan Wootton on social media is all right by me.
Yes, have at it, Stacey. More power to you. The last in our last batch of girls, we've got Ashley from the Pussycat Dolls, who I noticed most perturbingly was struggling with her heels as she was coming down to get paired up with Pasha.
I didn't notice that. That's worrying.
Yeah, she's like going as she goes down.
Oh.
Which, I thought Pussycat Doll, job requirement number 1 was can dance in high heels.
Well, she was all right at the dancing in high heels. I feel like she's kind of one of those people, if someone has choreographed her, whether that's to walk or to dance or whatever, she's fine. But left to her own devices, she's a bit of a sort of, out on her own. She can't really walk without someone telling her how to do it. But when they tell her, she's great.
Well, it's a good job. It's a Latin and ballroom competition then.
Isn't it?
I don't know how to feel about Ashley. I mean, I don't know. There's parts of which I find slightly grating, and especially the Latin, Pasha likes to leave their partner on their own to do a lot. So I think it's just going to be a lot of vamping and voguing going on from Ashley, because if she can't do anything on her own, she's going to go, look at me, I'm pretty. That's the vibe I get from her at the minute. I hope she proves me wrong.
Or she might learn a bunch of impressive tricks and stuff.
Yeah, just do a cartwheel. That'd be impressive.
I reckon she can already do a cartwheel.
Oh, aye. But
I don't reckon you get into the Pussycat Dolls, which essentially started off as a burlesque act, without being able to do some good tricks anyway.
And Pasha, even though he looks cuddly and has a twinkle in his eye, there is also the sort of white cat stroking mastermind who will push his partner to the limit going on with Pasha. But
Yep.
I can't gauge whether Ashley's going to be popular or not in the televote, because she will do some of the things that Alexandra got absolutely pasted for last year.
Yeah, I feel another Alexandra story is coming on, which is going to be really infuriating for us as fans. But yeah, I just feel like people aren't going to warm to her for some reason. I don't know. I just feel like she's going to be the one who probably does well, but still ends up in the bottom 2 when the numbers start getting cut.
Ooh, I have her down as a potential finalist.
I still think she'll make the final, but I think she'll be the one who's been in the bottom 2 the most leading into the final.
Was she
personally
on I'm a Celebrity?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that one where you can stay in by being neutral and people vote you out?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so she is triumphed nearly in a negative voting situation, but have we ever seen her in a positive vote for me situation?
No, I don't think she's done anything else. Not that I can remember.
All right, well, I guess we'll find out. Last batch of boys, and now it's sort of traditional that we have a comedian on. We have Sean Walsh, who is appealingly vulnerable in a velvet suit.
I'm sorry, I when that feels like it should be on someone's dating profile.
Appealingly vulnerable. He's embracing the absurdity of it all, and I don't think he's come in with any illusions that he's going to be able to do this. But he's getting paid, he's having a laugh.
I think he knows he's going to be a bit useless, and that's what I've given him Cassia, because Cassia managed to work wonders with Ed Balls, so they're thinking, hey, just give us entertainment again. Or they just really do not want her to win for a second year running.
Well, I suspect actually there's a bit of both of that going on. Katia won last year, so she can't win this year. They can't give her anybody who's even remotely, who's even, smells like a ringer, whether they are or not. They can't give Katia anybody who's going to be anything that's good. So, yeah. I said I predicted Susanna's out first, Sean's out second. That's my prediction.
Do you not think it's a bit sad that the way we as consumers, although not necessarily as mega fans that bother doing podcasts, have started reacting to, because obviously people such as us that will do this are a slightly different run. But do you not think it's sad that TV is now aimed to cause the least controversy possible in so many ways? Like, because they know that it'll kick off if Katya won 2 years running, they can't possibly give her someone any good because
what would kick off?
Twitter, and the comment section under the Guardian week by week and all of that. And I think, like, you know, it's all got so.
Well, it's also currently the BBC's like biggest rated entertainment show. So you can't actually do anything too mad with it. And they have already taken a lot of risks with casting this year.
They have, yeah, that's true. I just, you know, it's something I've been thinking about with a lot, like more than this programme, is that people are now getting to the point where they won't do things that might change a format because they're worried that people will react badly to it. And I don't know if that's...
I think you're right, but I think there's a lot of picking battles. Like...
Yeah.
Like taking a win where you can get one and not having an unnecessary fight.
Fair enough.
Moving on, we've got Charles Venn, who is Team Holby, and he's dancing with Karen. He seems just happy to be there.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah, I've no idea who he is. I don't watch Holby.
No, I don't.
But he didn't seem that bad. He seemed...
Well, equally,
not to have two left feet.
And Team Holby had a winner last year, so obviously they can't send a potential winner this year.
He'll stay in long enough that I can drag Joe in to be a part of the VT because he is the previous winner. And as soon as they manage to get that out of the way, for it's week 3, 4, or 5, he'll be gone.
Did you find it strange that Joe wasn't back to do his traditional awkward rendition of a dance from last year, the winner's reprise?
Yeah. Do we know
where he is?
What's going on?
Is he on a shoot somewhere?
I knew he wanted to go straight back into theatre after Strictly, and that's why he left Holby. So maybe he's wrapped up in that because Panto season is soon. Who knows?
Well,
he's the definite buttons, isn't he?
The schools have come back. The holidays have gone cheap, so he could be having 2 weeks in Tenerife.
Yeah,
it's a shame. Because I kind of wanted to see him do his tango again, but do it properly, not have a mind blank, because that's the one bad dance he had all last year.
Ah, well. And our final boy, dancing with the legend, Oti, it's Graham Swan.
He's a cricketer, isn't he?
Yeah.
He is.
Yes.
Cricketers know where all of the parts of their body are, which is an underrated prerequisite for being able to do Latin and ballroom dancing.
The question is, though, is he going to be a good cricket player or a bad one? Because we've had a real mixed bag of cricketers over the years. We've had 2 winners, and the rest have been at a push. So I'm not sure. I don't know if he's going to be good or bad.
He's going to have a go.
Yeah.
And Oti's happy because she's got an athlete and she gets to activate Punisher mode.
She's always had an athlete thinking about it, hasn't she? Anthony, Johnny, and now, she's always had a sports personality.
Apart from Danny.
No, she had Danny.
Oh, of course, yeah. I forgot about that.
And I think that might be partially to do with the intensity in which she
works
in training.
And forgive me for already launching into conspiracy theories, Oti has got a fabulous TV job in the new year next year. So I don't think she's doing the tour. So you can draw your own conclusions from that. So that is our fabulous 15. We've got a new sort of technique in the casting going on. What do we think about this year's slightly weird casting?
I think it's good. it needs a shake-up. They're taking a risk. And just because it's not full of people that every single person is going to know doesn't mean it's going to be a bad thing. Why would you turn down the chance to do the BBC's biggest programme, a most famous programme? You'd be mad to say no. So I say power on the BBC, and yeah, I think it's fantastic.
Lisa?
I'm going to say it now because I have to say it sometime on the podcast, and this seems like the obvious time to say it, and you probably all know what I'm going to say. But as far as casting risks go, they didn't take the obvious one that was on a gold plate before them in the form of the delicious Courtney act. I literally would have wet myself if they booked Courtney / Shane for this. And it would just have shut up the rhetoric that goes on year after year after year, and it would have given them a chance to explore it. And then next year could shut up about it because they'd already done it. Not only that, I just think Shane would have been brilliant on this. Absolutely brilliant. So I'm really, really annoyed and angry that they didn't take the obvious thing that was there for them. But I have to say it somewhere. I'm saying it now.
I feel like it's going to happen next year for two reasons that Courtney Act will be on the show. Firstly, she'd just done Celebrity Big Brother, so I think maybe they thought not jump straight back into reality TV. And secondly, the same-sex partnerships that they're going to be doing in the pro dances, I think they're going to use that to gauge the water, and if that gets a positive response, then they'll bring them in. So that I think next year.
Okay, well, I'm putting that down there right now. BBC, anyone listening to this, your first booking for 2019.
What she would need to really seal the deal is a UK TV presenting job.
Which she's got now. Amazing.
Is she on Big Brother's bit on the side, or?
No, she's got her own show called The By Life coming on E in a few weeks' time.
Oh, sweet. Marvellous.
Yeah. So,
all right. We'll series link that.
The great thing, just while we're talking about this, because I was determined to talk about it tonight, the great thing about that is that Shane identifies as gender fluid. He doesn't identify as a boy, and he doesn't necessarily identify Courtney as female. So we're in that nice little area in the middle that allows a bit of creativity. So it's the obvious booking for 2019.
Beautiful.
Anyway, I won't promise not to mention it ever again this whole podcast.
I want to know, Lisa, who you would pair Courtney / Shane with from the pros.
I would have paired Courtney / Shane with either Aliash or Pasha.
Aliash.
I think. Probably Aliash.
He's publicly said he would dance in a same-sex partnership, so I think that seems like the obvious partnership.
I think I would have partnered him with Aliash, yeah.
Okay.
The other casting risk that they didn't take this year is they've forgotten that women who are above a size 14 exist.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're not here anymore.
Well, I don't want to get too kind of uppity and because I moan at them for ticking boxes all the time. You know, they have to tick that box and this box and that box. So, but being one of those people who is a female above the size of a 14, it is always nice to be represented. The closest they've got is Susanna, who probably is a size 12 to 14, and she's going out the first week or two.
We have in previous years moaned a little bit about the bigger girl getting only one story, and that is I'm a bigger girl and I'm learning to dance and it's making me fit.
Yes, exactly. So we don't have to sit through that again. And also, if you think about it, they're kind of running out of big girls who have a high enough profile to be on Strictly. You know, we're really underrepresented in the media as a whole. So, there comes a point where you've run out of that demographic.
While she doesn't fit the plus, lady over the size 14 bracket, I do think what they've done by having Kate Silverton, who is not a traditionally, she acknowledged it herself. She is really very tall. And she's quite a broad-shouldered woman, and I think that's going to make her really athletic, hopefully, and able to get some really beautiful framing going on. But I do think, they're a group that haven't been a great number of in Strictly previously. They tend to go for the compact female celebrities who are a bit smaller and slimmer.
Because the pros are short.
Because pros are short.
Alexandra Burke was possibly in that category. Very athletic builds.
But she was still not super tall, was she?
No, that's true.
No. I also think the slight issue is that the last few years, the slightly bigger girl she hasn't done well. Like Tamika and Chizzy, for example, they've been cast as the funny overweight girl.
The funny fat girl. Exactly.
Yeah, and then they're made as not. The thing is, they are the ones that have the most potential and have done really well and have gone out much sooner than they should have in both cases. I was pretty angry with that about Chizzy and Tamika, to be honest. So I think people of a certain size who may even be approached just feel like, what's the point? I'm going to go on this show. They're going to focus on my weight more than the fact that I'm doing this, and I'm going to be gone in 2 weeks because I'm a bigger girl. That could be it. I could be completely wrong, but that's what it feels like.
There is the element of the fact that both of those were women of colour as well.
Yes. It is an interesting thing with the larger girl. I wrote a piece about it, in fact, at Eurovision, and about the roles that fat girls can and can't play on television, be that in drama or be that in reality TV story arcs. So, yeah.
Anne, did you want to come in?
Yeah, I was going to make one point, and then when you were talking, I just suddenly thought something else. And the first thought was that there's actually quite a few of the female contestants this year that are mothers, and I'd never actually noticed that, somebody who's a mother themselves. That I'd kind of thought, oh, well, she's a mum, and oh, she's a mum, and so she, and kind of it was quite nice that there's kind of some people who sometimes you're kind of shut up underneath, the stairs, you can't do anything anymore because you're a mum, the best years of your life are over. But no, actually, the fact that these people can do it when they're mums is really good. And the second point I was going to make was that now that I've said that, a lot of the female contestants are your kind of prim, I don't want to say proper, but kind of blonde, slim girls. The male side seems to have all the diversity. You've got quite a few men of colour there. You've got Dr. Ranj, who's obviously got the LGBTQ vote going on. And there just seems to be more diversity, more interest for me in the male celebrities than the female celebrities.
Dr. Ranj is just a one-piece walking diversity.
He's got everything.
He's LGBT, he's Indian, he's short, he's fabulous.
He's NHS.
Yeah.
NHS. I think we're going to get to the point where voting for Dr. Ranj is like a vote in support of the NHS. Say the NHS.
Vote Dr. Ranj.
Yeah.
Oh, his voting power demographic is just, I cannot believe it. He is the closest thing to a household name this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
His recognition will be highest.
Even my boy got excited that he was on. Like, this is Dr. Ranj.
And, actually getting the under sevens into Strictly is actually quite important.
Yes.
It's going to get young people. It's going to get them to dance. It'll get more like juvenile, like under 10s, into a dance school. And I think that in itself is amazing. At the end of the day, like from someone who was inspired to dance through this program, anyone they can bring on to make them go into a dance studio, I think is fantastic, which is probably why they have picked up on the mothers route, because, mums will see that and go, actually, I can give it a go with all them are doing it. Why can't I? I think it's fantastic. Another thing on Dr. Ranj is he's, Jeanette's never made a final. So maybe they're thinking it's her turn to finally be in a final.
Yay, Dr. Ranj. If Dr. Ranj can do that, he's a hero.
Little kids love dancing. Any encouragement necessary.
Yeah. So, your homework, while all of our celebs get to know their professional partners, is to find your nearest dance class and have a go. And if you can't find a dance class, get on YouTube and practice some steps with someone you know. Shall we do some quick predictions for winners? Just one name, and we'll...
One name? Oh, I've got 5. Hang on.
All right, Lisa's already written the final, let's face it.
It's right there.
All right.
Oh, it's audio, isn't it?
Lisa, quickly, your 5.
My 5 for the final are Charles, Stacey, Ashley, Ranj, and Joe.
Okay, Emily.
Heart goes with Danny John Jules, head goes with Joe So.
Anne.
I think that Ashley will probably make it to the final, as will Joe, and I dearly, dearly, dearly want Dr. Ranj in the final as well.
Elliot.
Oh, God. I think the top 2 is going to be Stacey or Dr. Ranj, and I can't pick who's going to win out of them.
Yeah, I agree. It's Stacey or Dr. Ranj this year, unless they turn out to be absolutely dreadful. In which case, just forget that any of this happened. We have one more piece of admin before we all shimmy off to our sequined chambers. Lisa, could you announce Frock of the Week?
Are you doing nominations?
Oh, go on. Let's do it properly.
Go on, then.
Well, I'm
Right,
nominating Vic's Platinum Dream.
You surprise me, Ellie.
I love her. Emily.
I've got a slightly unexpected one for you here.
Go on.
Do it.
My favourite frock this week was Darcy's magenta loveliness.
Yeah.
Elliot.
I'm so glad they've got off the list.
Oh, mine. Test Ellie's. No, I'm kidding.
It was like, so I was quite hungry when I was watching it, so it made me think of a burrito.
No, in all seriousness, mine is Katie. I loved that pink and nude stone thing. I thought that was beautiful.
Anne?
Even though she wasn't wearing a dress, I loved what Claudia was wearing. I loved that kind of slightly short pants with the big heel and the big lips.
Love a lady in a suit.
She
Very
did look
smart.
lovely with her hair in a bun, actually. She
Yes.
doesn't always have it up, and it looked really, really nice on her. So, Claude, if you're listening...
Yeah, keep it.
Well played. Okay, Lisa,
Yeah.
it's time for...
Right, I had 2 of the ones mentioned on my top 3 list. One of which was Claudia, because I did think Claudia usually looks pretty on it, but yesterday particularly good. I've got Vic's lovely platinum bikini, and I've got Lauren's amazing purple dress. I thought that looked absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. But I'm going to go with, because they both got 2 mentions each, so I'm between Vic and Claude, and it is a dance show. We ought to give it to Vic, didn't we? Because Claude wasn't in something by DSI London. So. Vic's bikini.
Okay, so all that remains is for us to say good night. Good night, Elliot.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Anne.
Good night.
Good night, Lisa.
Good night. See you soon.
Good night, Emily.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Keep dancing.